So, Mike,
Hey there,
You
Mike.
probably feeling good.
You picked
About
up our horse?
oh yeah,
Oh,
he's 50 years old.
He is 90 years old, but he's still
Yeah,
good.
come on, man.
he's 50 years
He
old.
gonna do, man. He ain't doing nothing.
Get on it.
Like, but he's better than having nobody, right? Because
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Well, the holdup was Kaminga, so whatever he signed,
Did he?
we don't know what he signed. It looked like they just signed him.
He signed something.
He signed something.
Okay, probably that like deferred until next year sign. I don't know. I didn't read nothing about it. It didn't pop up. I didn't pop up. All right, but okay, yeah. Let's see if we got anything else. Anything else before I get into the news? The news. First, I want to say, everybody, thank you so much for your love from last week's show on suicide during Suicide Prevention Month. It was really good. In fact, we're going to do something special today in the second hour because of that. Just people, online or on social media or just personally saying, thank you so much for that show. So yeah, just stay tuned for the second hour. We're gonna have some more regarding that. So got me some pretty good news here. This week, Mike, I don't know if you know, there was a loss and celebration. We lost some trailblazing women and men. Let me just start with the women, some trailblazing women and men. First of all, Asada Shakur, the Black liberation activist who spent decades living in Cuba, died Tuesday at the age of 78. And probably a lot of you out there don't know who she is. I do, big time. I don't know her personally. Joanne Chesimard is her name. She's a Black Panther and then Black liberation activist during the 60s and the 70s. She has been in exile in Cuba because she was wanted on America's Most Wanted list. She has always denied that, she was involved in the shooting and she felt she wouldn't get a fair trial. But she wrote an amazing book called Asada. And I will just say, if you haven't read Asada, read it. Grab it, read it, grab it, read it. One of the best books. I mean, it's just unbelievable book. Belva Davis, trailblazing reporter in the Bay Area. She was 92.
Belva Davis.
Belva Davis, yeah, broke barriers as the first Black woman hired as a television reporter on the West Coast and inspired generations of journalists. And this one I did know, knew Belva. In fact, most people probably around here for the Bay, definitely in the city, knew the one and only Belva Davis. Great lady, great reporter. Yeah, hadn't seen her in a while, but wonderful Belva Davis. And then so you had something about a concert, I think it's past, honoring Minnie Riperton.
Yes, it was Wednesday in LA at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, probably maybe a lot of listeners don't know who Minnie Riperton was. Ooh. That's like 3 octaves lower than she did it.
Wow.
Oh, Minnie Riperton. Oh, the angel. Unbelievable. Minnie Riperton, yeah. And she had a star-studded cast there. I think Stevie Wonder was part of the tribute.
Did you see the clip of Shantae Moore singing "Loving You"?
Yes.
She hit those notes, didn't she?
Yes, as good as you can, as close
As good as you can.
I mean, yeah, Minnie's the original, but Chante Moore did a really nice job.
He's
Really
saying
nice
the
job.
loving you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
loving you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try to hit those notes
Oh,
by
look,
myself in the car, but I
look,
try.
we can squeal and not come close to those notes. I mean, that was one of the boom. I mean, that's like Philip Bailey, right on the men's side. Hoo, way up there.
Mariah can probably get close, but this was before Mariah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Speaking of Mariah, she did release her new album this week. So
I saw that working with Anderson .Paak. Good choice.
yes, I appreciate it. I like it.
Two men. Ann tells me that the last remaining member of the Tuskegee Airmen passed away.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
The last
100 years
100 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
Lieutenant Colonel George E. Hardy was the last surviving member of the Tuskegee Airmen who flew combat missions during World War II in Europe, and he has passed away this Thursday.
Mm. Rest
Yeah.
in peace and power, as they say. Um, and if you watch Good Times, and I'm sure you did, or probably that first, and then Coming to America, where he played John Amos.
Oh.
John Amos passed away. Unless that's what I saw anyway. Did you know that so?
No, he
John Amos had already passed away,
Yeah,
Doc.
and then I was looking at an old
Yeah.
thing then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why it popped up on my feed.
That's okay.
And that's what tonight's
what
show is
Facebook-
about, the truth. Because the way it popped up. You know, when I said that, I ripped it. I thought, did we say that before?
I know. I was like, what is that called? The Mandela effect. I was like, wait a minute.
Yes. You know, I don't know.
I see there was a mural made to honor John Amos in
Oh.
Memphis, Tennessee a
Maybe
couple
that's-
weeks ago. But yeah, he had already passed.
Okay. All right. Well,
That's what
we're
it
going to
was.
remember him.
You know,
Anyway.
there's a mural downtown honoring.
yeah.
the
But
late-
Doc, to your point, we're in the age of AI right now. I mean, we might not be real right now.
Ugh.
Let me pinch myself. Stick a pin in there, you know. Yeah. Does anybody know the relationship between Assata Shakur and Tupac Shakur?
Godson.
Hmm?
That's his godmother.
Yes, there's his godmother.
You
That's
said you mentioned Minnie Riperton. Why again earlier? I'm sorry.
Minnie Riperton.
They had a tribute concert to her.
Okay,
this
gotcha.
week.
Down in LA this
Gotcha,
past
thank you.
weekend. And yeah. Okay. I don't know if
Yes.
there's any more news I want to get in. There's a whole bunch of crazy stuff.
So just real quick,
Yes, sir.
Assata Shakur was in Cuba in exile
Yes.
because
She
the
was
United
involved in a
States government.
shootout.
I know that.
Yeah.
She broke out of prison.
Come and get her.
They tried. They wouldn't extradite her to
Cuba didn't.
Cuba didn't extradite her. You know, Fidel Castro gave her asylum, basically. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's what happened.
She basically was there for like what, 40
in the
years or
80s,
so?
right?
She broke out of prison
Wow.
and got out of town. got out of the
Got to
United
Cuba.
States. Yeah, got to Cuba. And she's legendary. You know, that was one of the favorite names of conscious people for their daughters is Assata.
Hero of the Black freedom struggle.
Yeah. You should, but the book, read the book. It is a great book, a great book. That man is sending the troops to Portland. Don't know why, because ain't nothing going on in
I
Portland.
don't know what. the heck,
All right,
yeah.
all right. Terrible attack at a church.
No one in Portland. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, teas and rose gardens. But you know, all right.
Organic.
And this is sad, of course. At least one person was killed and 9 were injured when a gunman attacked a church of the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints service in Michigan on Sunday morning. The shooter was killed by police. Authorities say the 40-year-old male suspect rammed his vehicle. See, when you're in church, I mean, schools, obviously. You ain't expecting that in school. But when you in church worshiping,
That's crazy.
rammed his vehicle through the front doors of the. I mean, literally. I mean,
And that's more than crazy. I got another word, but I'm, whatever.
It's the opposite of what's going on in church. That's for
Yes.
sure, right? Rammed his vehicle through the front doors of the church in Grand Block Township, about 60 miles northwest of Detroit, before exiting and opening fire with an assault rifle on hundreds of worshipers
Wow.
inside. And obviously, that's not the first time we know that somebody's going into a church and kill folks. That's like you just can't imagine that. You know, I mean, I go to church. That's the last thing I'm thinking about when I'm in church.
Seriously.
Oof, Lord, I don't even know what's
The
yeah.
Did they have something about? Didn't something happen at TCU?
That I don't know. So
TSU?
TSU, I don't know that.
Didn't some people come to the campus and try to antagonize?
That's been going on since the whole, right after the Charlie Kirk death.
Okay,
So I don't know if that's continuing.
gotcha. I
But-
thought it happened this week.
It may have.
Yeah,
It may have.
Activists.
Oh, I saw that video.
Yeah.
They was like, nah, we good.
So they'll go to they were saying that they didn't know it was a historically black college.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, right. It didn't go to University of Tennessee. It didn't go to
Right.
you gonna
They didn't go
know.
mess with the volunteers, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, yeah. And
And they know everything else.
Yeah.
Right.
so this really leads me to what I want to talk about this hour. This hour is this whole thing about information and misinformation, and I want the listeners to help me. I really do. I really want to do. So I'm gonna give the number early. 877-955-1061, 877-955-1061. I want to see much help you can give me in particular, but maybe all of us. And this is how this popped into my head was I was talking to somebody the other day and I asked them, did they listen to Trump's speech, right? Or see Trump's speech at the UN? And this person said, I don't listen to the news. I don't watch the news. I don't listen to the news. I just don't, want to know, right? I guess all that madness is going on out there. And I didn't say this to this person, but my thought was, well, how do you know what's going on if you're not in tune to something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it led us put this thought in my head is, where do people get their information from? Where do you literally get your information from, right? How do you know? Where you got to get it from somewhere if you want to know. Now, if you don't want to know, that's another question.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious about who do people watch, who do they listen to, how do people know what's going on? And then my big question is going to be, where can I get the truth?
Right.
That's my big question.
Right.
That's my big question. But I literally want to ask, the listeners out there, where do you get your information? Where do you get it from? I mean, newspapers? Do you get it from podcasts? Do you get it? Where do you get it? And where can I go, Dr. Marshall, go to get the truth? Yeah. So call in, folks, when you get a chance. 877-955-1061. I want to get a sample. I want to know where you go. Why is it reliable, semi-reliable? I need guidance. I need direction because, you gotta know if they say the truth will set you free, lies will keep you in chains, right?
Yeah.
So that's deep, huh?
That is
I
real.
came up with that one myself.
I like that one.
And, I want to know where can I go to get the truth?
Yeah.
And give me some advice about where you go. And gave me some great stuff here. And you gave me so much. And Johnny on the spot. Johnny gave me, she gave me a news
Trying to give
platform.
you
She needs a raise.
She gave me a social
Give me
media
tips.
fact sheet. She
Trying to
gave
help
me
people.
podcasts and fact sheets. They gave me where people go to today.
People do go to a lot of podcasts.
Where do you go?
Yep.
I try to do a mixture of a lot of things.
Okay.
Because when you get on your Instagram, the what do you call it?
Algorithm.
The algorithm is kind of like tilted towards what you kind of like and things that you kind of like look for, like you've reacted to. So it's going to be more like, in my Instagram, it's going to be very pro-black, right?
Okay.
Very anti-Trump on mine.
It's going to link.
But at the
toward-
same
yeah.
time, me personally, I like to see everything. I like to get all perspectives, all vantage points to a certain extent. At some point, it's like, nah, I don't need to hear no more.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
But, I like to get a lot of different, because you could look at it from one way and then not really realize what's going on the other half. So I try to look at both sides. I try to be open, and I try to think for myself and not allow anyone else to dictate my thinking. If I feel like this is wrong, it's wrong.
So for you, if I were going to list where you go to.
For the most part, I go
Social media?
I go social media,
Okay.
CNN.
Oh, okay.
I watch Fox. I watch MSNBC. I try to get I try to watch C-SPAN, something that's very neutral. PBS, also a lot of British, UK, the BBC.
BBC, yep.
So like neutral. They're just telling it how it is and not forming an opinion and like giving their context.
Okay.
Because as you know, CNN it leans towards Democratic or
Well,
liberal policies.
So here's the thing for me: truth isn't really liberal or conservative
That's true.
or right wing or left wing or what they call woke, whatever the other term is. Truth is just truth,
Yeah.
right? So I can't, I just want the truth. Yeah, just tell me the truth, right? Because if I know the truth, that's different. I can act, but if you act on falsehoods,
Yeah,
you know,
win.
so I don't know, that's why I'm really asking. Okay, I got yours. That's great. If Lady E comes back, we got any calls? 877-955-1061. Please call me and tell me where you get your information from. And where can I go? Where can Dr. Marshall go? Help me, right?
Yeah.
I don't, and let me just read some of the stuff that's here.
Can I just say one thing?
Oh, absolutely.
One thing I do like about social media
Yeah.
is that it gives you direct access to whoever. Whereas in like the 90s, early 2000s, and the 80s, like if you want to talk to someone, a congressman, a congresswoman, you can say, hey, what's up with that? You can almost talk to them to a certain extent, right, directly. And
You
then
do that. I mean, how if you want to talk, they'll reply back to you. Is that
they'll reply back, or
Okay.
or if you want to know what happened, go to their page. You can go to their page, and a lot of times they'll tell you, this is my perspective.
This is
I
my
know you're going to
perspective.
hear anything what you hear on the news media, but I'm telling you from the horse's mouth, this is what's going on.
Okay, so that a good thing is you can talk directly to the.
Or they'll talk directly to their core audience or their fan base or whatever.
Okay.
Yep, that's
Okay.
actually pretty cool.
Okay.
Dr.
And-
Marshall,
Yes.
just want to say here, there's some research actually by Pew Research Center, who's everyone, I'm sure you know that name, Doc.
I got 3 articles by Pew right now.
Okay, then you probably have the one in front. I was just going to mention it. New research says 1 in 5 Americans now regularly get news from TikTok, which is up sharply from 2020. And they're saying, yeah, a fifth of U.S. adults regularly get news from TikTok, which is, they're saying that no social media platform they've studied has experienced a faster growth when it comes to news consumption. Especially when young people go to TikTok, just
Yep.
because it's, it's almost like I call it the anti-news. It's not
Ooh.
it's not the TV news, which
The
is just seems so.
anti-news.
It's almost like a trend now. If somebody's not in a suit and tie telling you the news, they're almost more trusted because if it's just the I don't know, the TV 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock news, it's almost like, oh, that's just the regular whatever. I can't trust that. But this person who looks and feels like a real person, who's not getting paid to do this or just seems to be coming from a different perspective, that's almost trusted more than before. And, where it was like the newscasters had this prestige and they were the trusted voices. I don't really think that exists anymore, especially with young people.
Okay. Well, a young person call in and tell me where you get it and why, and what should I listen to? What should I look to? What should I look to? Because and one thing, 877-955-1061. I'm serious about this, people. I want to know where you get your information from. Where do you get, what sources do you go to? I mean, or do you even care if it's true? Maybe that's a good question.
Yeah.
Because most of the stuff I see, I hope people want truth, because without truth, you can't make informed decisions, right? One of the things we were talking about that they said you should teach in school are critical thinking skills. Well, you can't think critically without some truth, right? I guess. How you gonna think critically if you don't know the truth? And I really do want to hear from people tell me, how can Dr. Marshall find out the truth? Because I want to know the truth about what's really going on. Lady E, your thoughts about where you can, where do you go?
Dr. Marshall, I don't know if I was that person that you're referring to, but I am one of those people who don't watch the news.
Mm-hmm. You weren't, but no. It was somebody else.
Yeah, because I think I was watching the news one time we were talking, but that was purely by accident.
Mm-hmm.
When I am in the middle of Young and Restless and then there is a special bulletin, that's when I watch the news. when there's a break in the TV programming that I am watching, then I watch the news. But I can't tell you where to go because we are living in a time now where who knows what's true.
Yes, I feel that, right?
Wow.
I mean,
And
like
and then when you hear what's true, it's
yeah.
not always the entire truth.
Oh,
It's bits and
let me
pieces.
write that down.
Yeah.
So is it the whole story or is there more, because we do research. You hear something on the news and then you got to research and you go so all the places uh Mike just mentioned. And once you go look all over, research all over, you just might get the whole story. And is it really true? And so I think that, like my mother used to say, you just SOL, because don't know when, if you will ever really get the truth.
Oh,
Because these are the days that we're living in. We just have to trust. And the decisions that are being made based on what we think we know, based on what we've heard.
what we
And
think.
we're hoping that it is true. But if it is indeed really true, we find that out as we go along. And that's my feeling about news and truth.
And that can be disastrous because you making
Well,
decisions based
uh,
on.
let's just take a look. Let's just take a look at what's going on right now. It's disaster all around us.
Yes,
It's
and
one mess
that's
after
not
another.
true.
And people are still having to make decisions, make choices, and you know, we are doing the best we can with what we've got to work with.
Well,
And
see,
that's my personal
No,
opinion for that question. So some of this stuff, I can surf through CBS to NBC, C-SPAN, Maddow, you name it, and you hear bits and pieces, and it's like 1,000-piece puzzles in shades of gray.
mm,
and I'm not looking for spin. I'm just looking for the facts, as they say, just the facts. I just
So
want to know what
maybe
happened, and most of the stuff that I see is spin.
maybe during this time, we will be guided to some way we can learn and find the truth. But somewhere it's got to be someplace, but it may not be in a place that everybody can access. It's not a channel
And
outside of us. It's got to be something in us. And then you really got to be tuned in.
I don't think people pay for cable.
And I ain't talking about 5 and 95. You know what I'm
I know what you're talking about. I know
saying?
what
Okay.
okay,
That's
but yes, that's a little bit. I'm talking about the news.
I'm
you know,
just saying, and
world.
not to discount any of it. Okay.
I don't think
As
people
long
watch
as you
news like that.
understand it.
I don't think you're the only one. I think like cable is pretty expensive for people, and like I watch the news all the time though, but I also like have it on like Alexa, which can be taboo for some people, but then there's also a commercial after every news segment. And then when I hear about stuff, learn about stuff, then I do go to social media because sometimes there's an earthquake and the news isn't reporting it, but my friend did.
right.
So and I can see it right then and there on Instagram and that'll pop up. Instagram is my favorite because then that's where I like Mike was saying, like you find people that talk about stuff and can kind of explain it in a different way or say what it means or show the whole clip of what was, what was on the news segment, for 30 seconds and they show you the 2 minutes of what really happened and why people are upset or protesting or anything like of what happened. Like I learned why the escalator stopped, I learned you just and then and it's not like what do they call it? The parasocial kind of relationship where you do kind of feel like you're befriending these people that are telling you the news that are just telling it straightforward. Aaron Parnas, I think he was one guy who's really popular. I think Sean King used to be really popular. And then now you're seeing these people featured on CNN. So they have enough of a profile, or like people believe them enough so that they are people that are guests on the shows. But sometimes you need it right then and there, and other times you watch it on these kind of deeper talk shows where they analyze things.
So
I
I
need
heard you say, if I can just say, I heard her say, then you find out what really happened.
I want to know what really happened.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing about social media. It's so instant,
Yeah.
right? That when people go live or whatever, they're kind of like the news reporter.
Yeah.
And then I heard her say, some people believe this person enough people believe him enough. And then what happens when you get to be believed enough? It's just, I don't know. But go ahead.
Well, and my understanding is a lot of those people who are on social media, and correct me if you help me here, are trying to get clicks for the number of things they post. So a lot of times they haven't found out the entire story, and they hitting you with the part they know, and then something else comes out, and then something else comes out. So I just want to know, and maybe I can, maybe I cannot. I mean, that's why I'm asking. I mean, y'all can join this conversation and help out Dr. Marshall. Where do you go? Where do you go to find out what's going on? What sources you've heard Mike say says? You talking about? You heard the Soul? I mean, I'll give you one. I'll give you one that I think I can rely on. My son's newspaper, and I mean that. The Richmond Post. I can basically is because I know the reporters. They go out. I believe they're honest. So stuff that I see in there,
Yes.
I believe pretty much. I can take it to the bank,
Yeah.
right?
Local newspapers local newspapers matter. Let me just say that.
Well, yeah. Again, I'm looking for people of things I can rely on and make this, informed decisions about, because I pretty much got, what actually happened and what's true. So that, that's high on my list, right? Now, not just because I know him, he's my son, but I know the quality of work that they do. So I have other sources that I think so, but I want to hear from you out there, 877. Here I go again, 955-1061. Tell me where you go. Tell me where you go to get your information, to get, and then tell me where I can go. If you call Dr. Marshall and say, look, I use this, you should use this, and I think it will give you a good chance to get the truth.
Yeah.
I would really like to hear about that. I would really like to hear from you, because I am looking for the truth, because I do believe and listen to this. Fake news on Twitter spreads 6 times faster than true news.
Of course.
All right.
Bad news goes further than good news.
So if I'm looking on X, right? I got 6 times it's gonna be fake news, right? And so
that's why it's important to vet. You kind of got to vet what you see and hear on Instagram. You kind of got to get double sources. And we kind of use it both ways. You might hear something on on CNN, and then you go to Instagram to fact check, and then you might hear something on Instagram, and you go to CNN to fact check it, or you go to ChatGPT.
Okay, we got a call. Somebody's coming to my rescue. Somebody is coming to my rescue. Hi, you're on Street Soldiers. Help me. Help me. We help Dr. Marshall.
Hello, can you hear me?
Thanks for calling.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Thank you.
How you doing? I got the radio on as I'm listening to you all right.
Yeah, please turn the radio on.
Help me. Where do you go?
Sorry about that. I'm not gonna lie. When I was just saying about Instagram and TikTok, there's also other websites that give me my news. So like it gives me everything from stock markets to Russia just releasing a nuclear bomb. And it doesn't. And there are other like mainstream websites like news.com and a couple of other ones that report.
Hey brother, hold on. Help me. I'm writing this down. News.com, right?
Uh-huh.
and they
Yeah,
just
news.com is one.
straight
Mhm.
facts, right? Just the news. Yeah.
It's not just the news in my country, though. It could be what's going on in Russia, or it could be news that's going on somewhere else. And it's not going to be everything that's going to be put on mainstream CNN.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you got a mass media of disinformation clashing with a mass media of information. So
Ooh,
it's like that's
like
really
that.
the bigger problem right now.
Hey,
You
man,
know what
say
I'm saying?
that
Like,
again. Say that. That was profound. Ain't a lot of profound statements being said these days. So say that again. Mass
Just
media.
that we have a mass media of disinformation and a mass media of information. So it's clashing in between. So you got people that are trying to diverge you from the truth, and you got people out there that are actually trying to tell you the active truth. And it has to go with your understanding and what your research and what you're putting into and finding out what's real, not real. And that's like the biggest battle right now. It's the battle of the mind of what's going on. Like, is this real? Is that real? Did we see Godzilla? Did we not see Godzilla? And I can only really go off of what I'm seeing too around me. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you making a lot of sense to me because I'm looking for the truth. Brother, I seriously am, man. I got so many falsehoods. So many people tell me what, and I found that wasn't true in the first place. And this administration, if I can go there, it's based on falsehoods, right? I mean, so anything they say, anything. And so I just want to tell me the real. I don't want no spin. I don't want no this. I don't want to be seen as a left thing or a right thing. If I can go somewhere and just find, you heard my statement earlier, right? The truth will set you free.
Yeah.
And lies keep you in chains, right?
But if you got people lying to you, those are the people that are trying to keep you in chains. So we're talking about slave masters of knowledge. And that was like the biggest thing back in, how can you keep black people from being free if you kept them from trying to read, keep them from out of knowing what the laws are. You know what I'm saying? Keep them out of what the whole being free was. And not, if you don't know, a man doesn't know that he's free already, then you're going to keep operating within a chained state. And it's with the mind. Like I was saying earlier, it's all in the mind state of what is true, what's not true.
Man,
I can even take you back further.
Hold on. Where you get all this consciousness from? Where you get all this consciousness from? Please. Where you get this? Okay. This is the non-conscious, where you get all this consciousness from? You must have read somewhere.
I mean, actually, I just started looking at like some of the things around me. So I'm walking down. I'll give you an example. I'm walking in San Francisco, right? And I see this statue of Babylon. It's statues. And I started reading the statue, and I'm just like, how many times did I walk past this and just never noticed that this was here? You get what I'm saying? And then I start looking around me. So I'm just like, and then I think back to the movie The Matrix. It's like once somebody starts waking up to what's actually in front of their face and what's around them, you start looking at everything else that's around you. You start actually reading the laws. They say, oh, this law, what does it say? Let me give you an example. USC Code 42-1668. And you're saying all bills are obligations of the state. I say, okay, all right. Well, that would mean a dollar bill is an obligation of the state, and all debt is an obligation of the state. So I'm not supposed to pay bills, right? And these are things that people don't read or look up, but then yet it'll be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, brother. Oh, without reading or actually looking.
Let me just say this, man, because you're so deep. You're a seeker of truth. Not everybody is a seeker of truth. You are a seeker of truth. And that's what I'm hearing. Not everybody is a seeker of truth, right? And you have to be a seeker of truth to find the truth, right? It's got to be a goal of yours. And maybe that's a big deal. What a great call. What a great call. Okay,
well, Doc,
thank you. I got so much out of that. All right, go on. 877-955-1061. Please call. Dr. Marshall need help. Where can I find out the truth? What do you use for your sources? You're on? Okay, let's go for it. Malcolm. Back to the soul. Okay. Y'all gotta hang on when you call, okay? So you want to say something?
Oh, you just, when you keep talking about the truth, I keep hearing the great Jack Nicholson line,
Can't handle the truth.
Can you handle the truth? I guess that's the next level.
That's a great movie too, by the
Yeah,
way. But
yeah, it is.
But especially, can you handle it
You
when
can't handle
when you're
handle that,
around when
right,
you're in a
yeah.
world or in a society where so many people don't know it? Because
Yeah, and don't want to know.
yeah,
Some
you
people
know,
don't
then
wanna
that's
know.
a whole nother thing. Yeah.
But again, that's worse
Yeah.
because they're making decisions about you. We got a call. Let's go. We go for it. We got 3. Okay, go on. You're on. Street Soldiers. Thanks for calling. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Nope,
Hello.
they're gone. Oh,
You
You're
gotta
on the
turn
air.
you're on the air. You're on the air. Help me. Where do you go for your information and where can I go to get the truth?
Nope.
Nope, gone. Okay. All right. Okay. 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 I want to read a little bit more about this. But fake news. Well, I said that we created a system that biases false information, not because we want to, but because false information makes the companies more money than the truth.
Wow.
The truth is boring. The truth ain't boring to me. Isn't that something? It's not boring, okay? It's a disinformation for profit business. This is what the makers, one of my favorite documentaries, The Social Dilemma,
Oh.
says. That's what it's a disinformation for profit business. So if that's the business, but the truth ain't boring to me. Dude, I want to know how you really are, what's really going on, and that's not boring. All right, one more, and then I'm gonna read. I see my notes. I'll be taking notes because I'm a seeker of truth. Algorithms and manipulative politicians have become adept at how to trigger us, getting so good at creating fake news that we absorb it as if it were reality. See? And confusing us into believing those lies. So we have less control over who we are and who we want to be. That's why I see that, and I can clearly see that ain't true. Why are you telling me stuff that's not true?
Yeah.
You messing with me.
Well, it's profitable.
Yes.
That's what it just said.
And it's about power.
And then also you have people that want to hear their own fake truth or lie. They want to believe that. We have a whole infrastructure of a society based on people feeling one way versus the reality of things. Yep.
Yeah. And then this last statement, which I think we're getting closer to, imagine a world where there is no truth. Now that's pretty deep. That's pretty deep. Imagine a world where there's no truth.
That's
so
scary.
yes. I want some more callers. I want somebody else to help me. Yep, we got somebody. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, thank you. Where do you go for your information and where can I go to get the truth?
I go to social media,
Okay.
like Instagram, like some of them, and then where do I go? My phone has notifications. I do that. Even though I'm a left-wing person, I try to read more about conservative viewpoints so that I can know how to argue better with people who don't share my political views. And then, hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, because I want to ask you a question.
So-
Keep going though.
So then I feel that everybody, especially in today's America's political climate, modern political climate, has to be politically aware because people need to know what this orange Mussolini guy is doing in the White House and is destroying our country and our world one by one. People need to be properly informed about the world around them and their country and local and state news, everything. However, I also feel that the media can be bad because in America, what are the main media companies? You have NBC, which is Peacock, and you have CBS, which is Paramount, and you have Fox, and then you have ABC, which is Disney. So they are large conglomerates, and then they have their own viewpoints, like left wing, right wing, and they're owned by somebody who has their own political viewpoints, like Murdoch, that Australian guy who founded Fox in 1986.
I want to ask you a question, if I may, just jump in. I get that a lot. Why is truth left or right? Or why is truth Democrat or Republican? Or why is truth woke or this or that? Truth is truth, right? I'm sitting here right now. Now that's not a left statement, a right statement. And the first thing, if I say it, now seriously, Mike, if I say it, they say, are you woke? Well, what I got to do with I'm sitting in the room, right?
Yeah.
Or are you
I'm not
this?
asleep.
Or you that?
I'm woke. I ain't asleep.
But the point is, what does that have to do with the truth? The truth is the truth. And that to me, that just messes up everything. They want to know what camp you're in. Does that invalidate the fact that I'm sitting here in the studio?
Telling you the truth, right?
I'm telling you the truth.
Wow.
You telling you,
And that's real talk.
and they paint you into this corner based on. It's like the truth don't matter. I just want to know, man. Look, I ain't. In fact, I posted one time. This is seriously. I posted. Listen, bro. I said,
Yeah.
I ain't left. I ain't right. I ain't in between. I am black. I
You
was
know
saying-
how
and say,
I
so
think
this is
that-
a statement from a black man. And like this, now is what I'm saying true or not? Not based on that. So really, thank you, man. But I love your insight, brother. I love you. I love you being politically aware because politics is.
I have one more thing to say.
Yes.
I was scrolling through Facebook around 10 years ago, and it had a picture of a Native American in the post, and it said that left wing. What if I told you left wing and right wing is part of the same bird?
Yep.
Because you know
Dang.
how Native Americans are so in tune with the environment and flora and fauna and animals. So, yeah.
And that's another deep one. We done got 3 deep statements tonight. A part of the same bird. I'm loving it. You're on Street Soldiers. Thank you for helping out the doc. Go right ahead. I'm listening. Where do you get your information from? You're on the air. Yeah,
Go on the air, sir.
to me. Go right ahead.
How you doing, man?
Hey brother, I'm asking. I'm
15
fine.
minutes.
And I'm loving my callers. Go right ahead. Where do you get your information from?
Well, brother, like I wasn't in tune with the theme, like until now. Right. I just wanted to say my name is Star from Oakland, and I left you guys a email on email, and I would really like that, like check it out.
Okay. All right. All right. That's a different maybe a different topic that we talking about here tonight. Maybe a different topic that we're talking about here tonight.
Definitely a different topic.
We got another call. Let's take it. We got another call. Let's take it. Doc is asking for help. Go right ahead. Thank you for calling. You there?
Hello?
All right.
Please.
What sources do you use? Where do you get your information from?
My sources, sir, I would say that I get them directly from the 5%ers, also known as the Nation of Gods of Earth, through utilizing a systematic of alphanumeric and utilizing lessons that were memorized that were brought forth by a former student minister was Malcolm X from Harlem, New York.
Okay, okay. Mike, is he going?
No, we got another
Okay,
caller.
okay, we
Last
got another
caller.
call. All right, that's what you get. All right, we got to keep going because we're gonna run out of time. You're on Street Soldiers. Go right ahead. Where do you get your information from? Tell me where I can go to get something that I can get the truth. You're on. Speak.
Okay.
Okay.
I think you have to go through multiple different sites now because lying is the new truth, it seems like.
Say that one more
And-
time. That's another deep line. Lying is the new truth.
Lying is in the truth. What she said.
Oh,
Yeah.
lying is in
No,
the
I
truth.
said lying is the new truth.
Oh, my
That's
bad.
what I thought you said.
Sorry.
You know I'm writing this down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use this, right? Go ahead. Thank you.
I feel like people are always lying, but I heard somebody say, "Are you ready for the?" I think that's also important because a lot of stuff is fabricated so that it's more palatable for people to understand. You know, I'm a 911 dispatcher, and a lot of stuff that I hear when it make it to the news is super fabricated, and it's like, well, that's not the truth. If people knew how dangerous the city I work in was, they probably wouldn't go. But I only use Instagram for stuff happening in real time. And I still take Instagram with a grain of salt, but if something happens in the city that I work in, I'll go to Instagram to a very specific page because I know that guy, he might be on it more than the police is, and you can see the pursuit in real time, or whatever is going on in San Francisco, you can see it in real time on his page. But other things, I might look at the Wall Street Journal or the news app on the iPhone, and I'll just kind of compare and contrast. It's almost like being back in school.
Yeah.
Journalism just really doesn't exist anymore, and it's like everybody seems to be owned by the same company, and they can only report the same things. People are just too scared to come out with the truth now. I don't know why.
I
But-
like that. People are too scared to come out with the truth. Wow, that's wonderful. Oh my God. Okay, last where I got most of my truth from? Books. I'm recommending books, folks. I'm recommending books. A lot of my truth has come from books. I'm reading a new one right now. All right, that's it. In the first half, we got to go. And tell them, second hour, we're going to switch and talk about what we talked about last week, suicide prevention. It's going to be good. Hang on.
Go ahead and join us on YouTube Live at Stay Alive and Free. And you can always take us on the go when you visit stayaliveandfree.org.
Tell me what you see when you look at me. Do you see another brother lost in these streets looking for his soul? Trying to find my soul. Or do you see another brother searching for lost souls in these streets? A street soldier. Street soldier. Here to help you get that chip off your shoulder, warm your colder days and sober your drunken ways, and find a way to help you get over these hurdles placed in our path. And this is not meant to amuse you. This is for all those who have questions but are afraid to ask. I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. No. When times get hard, you lose your way. Open your mind and hear what I say. This is a message for the hard and the soft. To those who tune in weekly and to those who keep an eye out for 8 p.m. on Sundays and turn their radios off. The truth hurts. The cloth has been pulled. We're walking around half dead. Use this show as your IV. Alive and Free is a new movement. We've achieved self-destruction. A street soldier promotes self-improvement. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah.
Lying is the new truth. Second hour, Live and Free Streets Soldiers Radio. Wonderful first hour. Again, I think we got the best listeners, the best callers in all of radio. I really do. I really, really do. Right here on this station. It's just. I'm just blown away by the fact of their, I don't know, insight and consciousness and all of that. So. Thank you. And I got some good stuff. I wrote some notes, and I'm going to look into a couple of these places to get as much truthful information as I can, because the truth will set you free, and lies will keep you in chains. I had a great example. We're turning now to the subject of last week's show, which was suicide prevention. September is National Suicide Prevention Month. Is that correct, Nan? Yeah. And we're still in September. The second hour was just so powerful last week. We had a little issue. You know, we didn't get to run. Everybody said, what happened? What happened? What happened? But we think that issue resolved, and we didn't want anybody to miss particularly that second hour when we discussed a lot about prevention. We had our resident therapists in. They were fantastic. Jamal Kazee, I can't remember how I write it down. Oh, what's her name? Rika White, and of course, Lady Estelle. And so it was priceless what you heard. And let me just say what actually prompted this. I was gonna do it anyway, but here I saw this thing today. Tanya Spalding, a 26-year-old accountant and 2023 Miss Universe Jamaica finalist, was found dead in her apartment just recently, suspended from curtains in what Jamaican police are investigating as a possible suicide. Before her tragic passing, she shared raw, heartbreaking posts on social media confessing, "My mind is trying to kill me," and described daily battles against thought, urging her to end her life. Just saw that today as I was doing my research. And I saw another one. Apparently in London, this man was on a bridge, suspended from the bridge, getting ready to, let go. And people went and grabbed him, grabbed his hand, grabbed his arms, grabbed everything they could, and literally held him for an hour.
Wow.
For an hour, talking to him, and finally he talked him back to literally to life in this case. One tragedy that was alone, this woman ended up apparently committing suicide, and then you had people putting their arms around another human being and pulling them away from that tragedy. So it just shows how important it is for us to know everything we can about it.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna go back to that hour. There's a lot in here. You should get pen and pencil, write some of this stuff down, because the therapist did a wonderful job talking about suicide and ways to prevent it. So
Yeah.
here we go.
I guess, just quickly, it reminds me of the story of the Golden Gate Bridge, because you shared that. And there was a story of the young man, Kevin Hines, who did it, who jumped, but he survived. And with that, he always shared how much he regretted it. And he's one of those people who,
Survivor.
yes,
Yeah.
who talk about how
Yes.
people need help. And so with like the Golden Gate Bridge, I thought it was really powerful and important that they put the safety net there, just because it is just a cry for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lady E, you want to say anything before we jump into the show? That second hour, it was amazing. It's amazing. Okay, ready?
Yeah, I'm really glad that we're going to be able to see that.
Yep.
Because it was something I think that the listeners needed to hear and know. So I'm glad that's happening.
You got it. All right, here we go. Hour number 2, Alive and Free Street Soldiers Radio. Man, what a first hour. What a first hour. Now on YouTube, we're going to continue our conversation about suicide and suicide prevention. Just our guest. I mean, that was such a powerful hour. I mean, I'm like, man, and I got to say, it is a blessing to have this show. It is a blessing to have this show, at least for that short amount of time. People can call and talk to people directly. I get up, I'm upset when I call a business and I can't get, all I get is, you know what you get, right? And I can't find a person, but this show, there are times when you really realize how much of a blessing Street Soldier is, especially when we're talking about a topic like this, which is suicide and suicide prevention. Our guest therapist, Jamal Kazee, is Brother Jamal Kazee. We're being joined by Rika White Soso, right? Did I say that right? Huh? Oh, just White. Oh, I saw it. Okay, just White. Okay. Ms. Rika, thank you for joining us this hour. And before we even begin, just like Brother Jamal talked about his practice and what he does, I want to begin with you by saying what you do.
All right. Good evening, first off, everybody. I'm glad to join this conversation. I did hear that first hour, and yes, it was powerful. And a lot of good information that Brother Jamal and yourself, Dr. Marshall, and Lady Estelle shared, and the questions and the comments and callers that called. Thank you for calling. So my name is Miss Rika, is what I go by usually, or Rika. My full name is Miss Frederica L. White. I have an MSW, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker here in the Bay Area. Man, I get bored, so I do multiple things. But one of the things I do is that I do have a small private practice here in the Bay Area, mostly telehealth at this point. I also lecturer at a university in the School of Social Work, as well as executive director and clinical director of a program in the Bay Area that provides supportive, independent living to persons who are living and managing mental health diagnosis, meaning persons that are bipolar, have schizophrenia, severe panic and anxiety disorders, and things of that nature. And we help them live independently, but within a supportive community of in houses, residential homes, and we support them. Some of them work, they're volunteering somewhere, they got cars, they're doing their thing, but we come in and provide them counseling, therapy, groups, and other supports. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I do.
Great work. Great
All the
work.
other things.
Awesome.
Great work. Great work. Both of you. Great work. I'm just, let's start off with just sort of commenting on that first hour and those callers.
Yes.
Wow. This is a tough subject, but
Yeah.
then to hear people talk and I don't say emotion, the pain. You can hear
Yeah.
the pain
Yes.
of suicide, right?
Yeah.
And just your thoughts about the callers, and then we'll go into to more of a discussion. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I wanted to highlight, I appreciated very much the woman called in regards to and bringing the spirituality piece of things to this. We want to dispel the idea of, first off, persons wanting and needing someone to talk to. We want to dispel that that's okay in all colors, all cultures. It's okay. We have most of the groups of people of color, we were born, brought up, and taught in our homes to keep things within the home and kind of to ourselves and kind of deal with it. And if you said anything or sounded like you might have been having a problem, it was kind of like something's wrong with you. And reality was, and that uncle that was down in the basement on Thanksgiving, and we told him don't go in there and mess with him. We just made it seem like there was something wrong with him, but what's really going on, he probably was dealing with some mental health things. We just kind of shoved it aside. But I wanted to appreciate the conversation about Brother Jamal. You had said it's not a sin to be depressed, to deal with depression. It's not a sin. And so I have been saying, and we've seen this probably across the different places, it's okay to have whoever your higher power is, Jesus, God, Jehovah, Allah, whoever your higher power is. It's okay to have that as well as a therapist, have someone to talk to. It's okay. And it's okay to talk to your friends and to your family, but sometimes when we talk to those people, we kind of keep things a little limited. We don't really divulge all the things because it might have been some things that they have brought to your life that have brought on the stress and things that you're dealing with. So that was some of something that came up for me. And I'm glad you stressed the suicide and crisis line of 988. People need to know that that is available. They can call, they can text, they can chat. They have made it to where you can do all the things that whatever way you can, and want to communicate to them and things of that nature. So there's so much out there that we want to, people need support. We need to get connected again. We need to get connected. All this individualism, and I can do it by myself, and it's really causing a lot of distress with a lot of our people. out there.
Mhm.
You know, Ms. Rick, I asked, in fact, last week, our show on our Back to School show,
Mm-hmm.
and we asked, what would you like to see taught in school that's not currently being taught, not being taught enough?
Mm-hmm.
And mental health came up.
Absolutely.
It was on the list. So they said, we got to put this on the list. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there were several topics come up. By the way, financial literacy was right at the top also, but
Mhm.
mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tuesday night when we had we had all these kids in the room, I asked them, what would you like to see? I don't know if I say see change in the world or make the world better. And anyway, they'll say talk about mental health more.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mhm.
that came up for them. So I think that if it's taboo, it's a taboo that people want not to be a taboo.
Oh,
Right.
because that's because this generation though, the current generation, they're
They
kind of
use the word,
into,
mental health.
right?
Yeah.
They're kind of into talking about themselves, talking about what's going on, and we kind of the generation probably after we kind of shy away from it so much, and some of them do, but
Mhm.
most of them don't because that's part of their communication. That's why they talk
Mhm.
about they need it so much. But
Yeah.
we need one of the things we can do though is in addition to just talking about mental health and kind of teaching it or whatnot is teaching them some of the protective factors or things that they can learn that can help protect them against some suicide risk, like learning some effective coping skills.
Yes.
Some effective coping skills and problem solving skills and some
Before we get into that, let me just a few things I found out that are always new when I did my not new, but this is young people suicide among young people. It's the
yes.
third leading cause of death, and this is a 2019 study, Stanford
Mhm.
Medicine, right?
Mhm.
Third leading cause of death in 15 to 24-year-olds, right?
Mhm.
Males are 4 times as more likely to commit suicide than females.
Mhm.
I mean, for some reason, I don't know why I thought that.
Well, and
Although then it says females are more likely to attempt suicide than males.
males usually use more lethal means,
Mhm.
right? So they'll do
Like
more firearms or a knife or
Yeah.
jump off something or things like that, where others will probably take a pill or do something like that. So males tend to use more lethal means than females do.
I don't
That's
know
why
why.
that's that.
Yeah, I just no. Okay, right. Well, you're right.
Mhm.
More women attempt it, but more men actually die from
Mhm.
it. Than you're saying it's because of the
The
lethal,
lethality.
Mhm.
the lead,
Mhm.
what they're using. And then firearms is, that's the leading cause of death in it, suicide. Wow.
Mhm.
And there's more stuff, and then the
Yeah.
statistics are there. There's a couple things I want to bring up, and I want to talk about um, uh, uh, suicide and social media. And please come back and talk. Give us your story. You got to do this, Ann. We got a bunch of stuff, but this one blew me away because every time I think I got an angle on something,
Mhm.
something comes in like what?
Mhm.
So, and you do this one, please.
No, because yeah,
Mhm.
because everyone's talking about ChatGPT. They're like, oh, it can help you with your homework. It can help you organize. It's so great. And then now you have it where people are using it as their therapist, as someone to talk to. And
Mhm.
there was a young man who was 16 years old
So this.
who was, kind of going through a deep suicidal crisis. And he talked to ChatGPT about it. And that was kind of like his way of asking for help. But the way that the computer talked back to him is that it kind of affirmed everything that he was feeling.
Oh my
The young
goodness.
man said, maybe I should put a noose outside of my bedroom door to let my parents know how I'm feeling.
Mm.
And ChatGPT said, no, 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 don't do that. He said, it's something like, instead, try this. And
Oh.
so, and then the ChatGPT even went and scripted out like what he could do. Um, and that's just crazy. Like there was no nobody to monitor any of this, nobody to signal that this was going on, and it disregarded his cries for help, and it.
So before any of you comment on this, just hold that, because I don't talk to these machines. Okay, so but one day my and it was hard. You know, my son-in-law got into this thing about, we're a boxing fan, right? And you know, this is before the fight, you know, before the Canelo.
Canelo and what's his name? The one on Netflix that just came out.
So we got into this thing. I got this Roy Jones Jr. hoodie. Everybody know I love these hoodies, right? And so I got to talk about Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones in their prime. And I wonder who was better. So he goes to chat GPT, and I'm listening. And, you know, I'm figuring it's like Siri. You know, Siri gonna say, look, he starts talking to Chat GPT, and then Chat GPT is talking back to him, but the inflection of the voice changed, and he was almost like a brother talking to a brother. You know, I was tripping out, and I'm telling you, I freaked out. He said, well, I don't know if he's that good. What do you think? So when you told me this, I was like,
wow.
And that was just about a boxing thing. So when you told me this story, this is y'all take over now. Because I'm a human being and I can talk to kids. But the fact that this person is trying to get something to help him from a.
Yeah, and I think we're looking at it. I think we're looking at it in a really interesting way, because the way that I hear that story is how sad it is that he didn't have anybody that he could talk to. Right? Like that. We've been talking community all day. You mean there wasn't not one person that he could go and say, hey man, I'm a little down today, right? Chat, the AI things, again, they're just supercomputers. They just have access to a whole bunch of information, right? And they have it at the tip of their fingers, and it moves at lightning speed. So it feels like it's a thing, and you know, we're moving into this technology different generation. I mean, our phones are computers. We're not going to get into that conversation, but the key is this young man was seeking help, and he had no one to turn to.
But but was it that he had no one to turn to, or he just didn't?
Or he didn't. That's a good point.
Or he didn't, because I'm assuming that he may not have known he could have spoken to someone. Like that goes back to why I'm saying we need more community and relationship again, right? Because it could have been his parents might have been right in the next room. His big sister could have been down the hall. We don't know. So the thing is, he didn't feel, you know, like he had people, maybe, we don't know, but he didn't feel like he had the connection enough to be able to share that thought, those feelings with whoever he had in his circle or whatnot. You know what I mean? Like that, to me, there's a difference in that he didn't have, not that he didn't have maybe nobody, maybe he didn't know that he could have, because he didn't have the connection relationship at the level where he could have that conversation or those kind of conversations. Does anyone understand what I mean by that?
Yeah. So just to share another statistic, is they say that 72% of teens do have AI companions that are usually like used for homework and things like that. Something else that I thought was interesting and really significant is that they did a study with young people, and they said that, you know, almost 40% of students experience persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness, where then almost 28% experience poor mental health, and then where maybe 10% attempt.
But see, Ann, what's good for me to hear this story is now I know you can't get help from there. I mean, I got to know what young people are dealing with. If you look in there, I got to be frank with them. The answers ain't there. Because, you know, we've been in the social media conversation before when young people, tell me I'm trying to validate myself through social media. You can't do that. Right. So if that's where you're going, you know, you can't. So that's why it's important for me to know that, you know, that's not going to be a place for you. Sure. That's and we have to monitor. Yeah. I mean, that's just something I just need to know. I need to know where you're going to find your answers. And that's
a component.
why.
There is a human component that doesn't exist with chat and AI. Okay? And that's judgment.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, Chat GPT and AI, they don't have any judgment. They're just answering questions and supporting you without that human component, be it judgment, trust, empathy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we run into a lot of human beings that lack empathy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But
But just about every human being has that judgment component.
mm-hmm.
And so, you know, and I hear what you said, Miss Ricka, that feeling, you know, that belief, that knowing. Because see, when you say feeling, it's more than, you know, some people hear feeling and they don't hear it as deeply as you meant it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Where
Yes.
there is that belief, that knowing that I can just come to you and say to you, and I'm gonna be all right in that
Mm-hmm.
coming to you and saying to you,
Mm-hmm.
where, you know, there's others that just feel like, well, no, they don't even get that deep into it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but that Chat GPT, there's no judgment in there.
Mm-hmm. And the generation we're with right now, the generation we have right now, they're attached to that phone.
Yes.
I mean, it's like I had experience this past weekend with it. I won't go more in it. I'll just say it seems like there's a magnet in their hand, go straight to it, right? And this is their friend. It's their friend. That's their friend. There's things in there that is a connection. So they really, maybe they don't see it as not have a thing that doesn't have judgment. They think they're really talking to someone.
And
they're talking to them. Yes, sir.
And these things are also what you want to remember also is that the social media, the phone, these things kind of create a dopamine feed, right?
Yes.
It rewards me over and over again, and I can be addicted to it. I'd have another shirt that I talk about real therapy, REEL, versus real therapy, REAL. Real therapy is when they're on social media, and it's like, you know, you might be a narcissist if blah, 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 blah. You might be all of these different things, or you're OCD if you like your colors to match this, that, and the other. And we're walking around and we're saying all of these things, and, or the weather is bipolar today, and we don't have a clue of what we're saying.
All right, now I call the weather in San Francisco schizophrenic. Okay?
See, Lady E, I knew it, Lady E. I told you. I knew it. I was here to hold on. There's this judgment you was talking about, right?
Hey.
But we don't, but when we don't have a connection to a person that we can bounce things off of, right? One of the number one things that helps as a mental health first aider, one of the number one things that helps youth with mental health issues is connection with at least one caring adult, at least one, right? And so, like you said, Lady E, earlier, what's next, right? Once you find these things out and you find out this child is not suicidal, but they're having some problems, now the work begins. Right. And it's an investment into this youth's future. It's an investment into this youth's goals, because once you start to focus on your goals, you're less focused on your situation. So when you start thinking about where you're headed, you're not looking down at your feet, right? Because all you can see is the mud that you're standing in. You don't see everything that you want that's in front of you. And because we live in such a heightened society that promotes fear, that promotes anxiety, that promotes worry, that promotes doubt in systems, we are existing in that, right? And so if we don't have anything to hold on to, if we don't have anything that's going to promote us holding our head up, we're going to keep our head down, and a head down position promotes self-defeating thoughts, promotes if just one more thing happens to me, I can't take it. So it'll be, you know, my mother yelled at me. I didn't eat last night. I went to school. Dr. Marshall wasn't where I needed him to be when I got there. I lost my pen. I stepped in a puddle, and then somebody bumped into me. I can't take this no more. And all you hear is somebody just bumped into you. Don't worry about that. Right. And don't let them have that. So, you know, again, don't let them have that social media open. Who knows what's going on or what breakup is happening or any of these things. So The thing that I'm pushing as a community is compassion, right? The idea that we don't talk about these things is directly from like I'm gonna say a slavery mentality, right? You couldn't talk about these things because it was a life or death thing, right? We watch people on these plantations get murdered, raped, pillaged, all of these things, and had to keep working. You had to keep that in the house so you could make it through. So that's passed down. And then we don't talk about it, and we fight through to get to something that we want. That's passed down. And now these kids can talk about anything and everything they want, but they don't know who to talk to about it.
It
But
looks
that-
like
that's where-
that's
and that-
something she needed to
And
say.
I think that's why we need to be working on helping them learn at as early an age we can some good, strong, effective coping skills, problem
Yes.
solving techniques,
Yes.
the ability, building up the ability to be able to accept and adapt to change, and all those kinds of things, like because it seems like also getting them reconnected to who they are, like that cultural identity, that spiritual identity, and really knowing that. And maybe if the young people, and it's not just young people, so I just want to be careful.
I was going to say that because the young people are listening. I'm just going to say that we're talking about young people.
Yes.
Adults.
Yes. And I'm going to say something about that, but I do on the young people though. What I want to did want to stress is that if they're feeling like they don't have someone to talk to, maybe that's something we need to look at as parent, the village around them, because
Absolutely.
with unless there are some young people that don't really have anyone, right? But they may have a teacher or something. But my point is that if that is what young people are feeling like, that is the computer that's going to be better for them than us, than to be able to come to us to have a conversation, we need to check ourselves on that. However,
100%.
However, we're not just about the young people, right? We have I'm not gonna so
Go ahead, say it.
no, I will just say that we want to not miss the people that look like, don't forget about the people that look like they got it all together.
Yes.
Don't forget to check in with, we need to check in with everybody. Just check in. Be in, like that's why I started with the thing about we need to go back to building community. This is why another protective factor that can be is being connected to, and a lot of people say, Miss Rika, you in so many organizations and blah, blah, blah. Shoot, I'm gonna be old and I want somebody to check on me. And not just then, I want somebody to check on me now. So yes, be part of something else bigger than you, so that you're sewing into something bigger than you, so you can see that there's more to life than just your stuff. And at the same time, when you do have your stuff, acknowledging it and owning it and trying to get the support that you need around it. But we don't want to just put this on young people. There are people who right here within my generation, and the generation below me and a generation above us, another high number of suicides is with the more elder adults.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's because a lot of them, they're alone. All their friends have passed. And this is why, again, I do promote encouraging people to provide and connect with organizations while they're young, and then when they're in their middle age and when they're in their elder age, because it's those persons. When I used to work as a home health social worker, I found there were so many 90-plus-year-old people all around the Bay Area. And I would go into their homes after they've been in the hospital, had a hospitalization, and see them. First off, they own their homes, a lot of them. And a lot of them are, the ones I'm thinking of right now is in deep, deep East Oakland. Deep East Oakland. And some of these older houses, maybe they were able to afford the mortgage, but maybe not the repairs now that they're 90. And sitting there and they're by themselves. So those increase in elder adult suicides is because they don't have anyone they're connected to. All their friends have passed, or if they never connected with any other organization, they're no longer. This is what we need to stop doing in organizations. While they could sell a ticket, we calling them. While they can pay their dues, we all on them. But as soon as they can't do any of that anymore, we forget about them. And then they are alone. And so we need to make sure we have some systems in place, even after they're not able to pay their tithes at church. We need to still check on them, even though they can't pay their dues and sorority and Masons and the Eastern Stars. We need to check on them. It shouldn't just be based on those things. So that's why they're lonely and why a lot of them feel that there's no reason to be here anymore. And they have a lot to give, So
Yeah, we have a saying at the club. We've had this for years. We're not all related, but we're all
Thank you.
family, right?
yes.
We're not all related, but we're all family.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of our, success over the years has been, just saying we're all family, right? And
Mhm.
that could be the kids in front of us. That's certainly this radio show.
Mhm.
They feel like we're family. They really do. For all these years, right?
Mhm.
And that's something that yes, I think that's when you treat when I taught, I treated the kids like they were my kids, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And people going and I'm sure even in and therapy is always interesting to me because I just my practice was limited to just getting my hours done and so I can get that PhD, right? But it didn't go deep into that. But I'm assuming, I would believe the most successful therapist, because I remember there's certain lines you're not supposed to cross. Well, I'm crossing lines, right? Because I'm gonna be me, right? And so make you feel like you're valued, make you feel like you're wanted, you make you feel like you're somebody. So I think everything you say can add, can help, uh, you know, with this thing, this wow, because people do feel isolated and lonely, and they get to
Mhm.
that point, and they feel like
Mhm.
nobody cares, and it's just
And
yeah,
and times have changed a little bit to where we also, some of us are feeling we got to be a little cautious in regards to,
yes,
because I like the idea, like you talked about, Dr. Marshall, that, it used to be that everybody could speak to all the children and everybody can do a little, say a little, hey, baby, but now you can hardly talk before the mama jump on you for saying something to their child. So when you also can't, but you almost can't even build the relationships you would like to build to support and be part of that young person's village, to be able to see when there's distress, and how to, be able to see when there might be something going on, to be that safe person that they want to talk to. But even with the adults, same thing. People are so guarded, we're so private, we're so, don't want to show that we have any, what we were told, right? That's weakness if you look that kind of, if you're doing that or sounding that way or all that, suck it up, you got this or whatever. And so then we read stories in the paper about how a husband takes all the family out because what
Oh,
you find out later on is because of the financial stress that he's going through or whatnot. You don't want them to suffer, or the mom who does something to their children, or the child who does something to themselves. But that social media thing that you talked about earlier, it's a big deal for children and adults. People are being bullied on it. We used to get bullied, and I just sucked it up and told them, sticks and stones will break my bones, but nails would never hurt me, kind of thing. But kids aren't doing that anymore. Now it's so just, and it goes so far. Something on the internet, just one little thing on the social media thing, goes all out to the whole wide world and
Well,
stays there.
and I think that's some of the issue, right? Is that there's a way that, as a man, as a black man of some stature, that I have to be aware of who I am when I walk into rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't dull the light that shines within me, because these are the people that need that light. It's going to be over. One of my biggest things that's always funny when I first got my practice is realizing how much people lie to their therapists. Right? They will go a year telling the
Yes.
same lie, and then will finally be like, okay, brother, now this is the real, right? There
I can see that.
there
Yeah.
is a way that you have to stand in the truth of the situation and be what the community needs and be that pillar,
Mhm.
right? There is a way that it is going to be exhausting of you, there is a way that it is going to be that is going to pull something from you. But there's also the same thing like we were just talking about. Lady E said it, that when people come to you for help, you don't have to be the one to do the help. You have to get them to the help.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there are professionals here that you can trust
Yep.
that will help them when you go to a point where I've exhausted where I can go with you on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to walk with you hand in hand as we get through this.
Mm-hmm.
We can't minimize. Listen, I have 2 nieces, and my youngest niece, that's my baby, right? And she was a pandemic baby. She did high school through the pandemic. I mean, she was excited for high school. She was a cheerleader, all these things, and they shut it all down.
Mm-hmm.
So at her developmental years in high school, where she would be learning how to work these things out, it was removed from her.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually had to go back to the drawing board of, yeah, we don't cry about stuff like this. Or yes, that feeling is horrible. I'm so sorry, baby. What happened? Let's talk about it. Because another thing we don't do is we don't deal with the emotion that we have, especially in our community. It's okay to be angry. Everyone accepts anger, but we don't know how to say sad. I'm so sad, I'm angry. I'm so scared, I'm angry. I'm so worried, I'm angry. So we walking around here treating anger, and we not dealing with the sadness.
Mm-hmm.
We're not dealing with the fear.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So until we can, one of the things I work with my clients is this: you have to acknowledge something is happening. Something's going on right now. I'm not quite sure what it is. Something in me is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I can acknowledge that it's something there, now I have to be aware of what it is. Call it what it is. I'm afraid. I'm scared. I'm anxious. I'm depressed. I'm worried. And now we make adjustments.
But many
But
people
it's-
don't even have those words, though, brother. Many people don't even.
And that's where the
why that feeling,
professional,
right?
and that's where the professional comes in.
Yeah.
Let me just throw in another population
Yes.
that we haven't really talked about that is suffering, that their suicide rate is 3 times higher than the national average.
Oh,
And that's the LGBTQ community
yeah.
Mhm.
that are 3 times higher than
Mhm.
national averages. Okay.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
can, that's probably not hard to figure, bullying and, how well, dehumanized, and you might even say at this point, the way this whole society's going, the issues, all the issues are there, all the issues are there, and so I just had to put that out there, and this is and again, how many people are included in that family, in the family. So when I say, I treat everybody like family, I really mean, y'all treat everybody like family, you human, I don't know where that stuff is.
And
Yes.
some of the things that probably that contribute to that number being as high as it is the fact that a lot of their families cut them off.
Yeah. Yep.
Because of
Yep.
them
Yep.
not agreeing with
Yep.
their
Right. Lifestyle. Yes.
lifestyle process right now.
Yeah.
And that's who most of us was taught we go to first, right? We're told to keep everything in the house. We first go to the family, then you go to the family, and they like. So I think the need for persons to be more, I guess you'd say, allowing people to be who they are.
Yeah, and
And
Rick,
loving
when
people how they are regardless.
I will say, just in our work, and Larry, you can say this.
Mhm. Yes,
Is
brother.
a lot of people told us that there's something wrong with them, right? There's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, okay? There's nothing wrong with you. And they actually walk around thinking there's something wrong with me.
Mhm.
Something wrong, I'm black. There's something wrong when I'm this. There's something wrong with me. It's something because there's nothing wrong. There's and just sometimes you're okay. There are things that need to be dealt with, but you're okay. You're okay. You're fine. You're fine, right? I've even gone to things like say, something that God don't make, God don't make ugly, right? God don't make this, God don't make that. Just me saying that. But I think all of this is in there because if you begin to feel like there's something wrong with you, whatever it is, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have that. Then you're going to, like start figuring out, you're looking for answers, and then you'll turn to, you don't know who to turn to, but there's something wrong with you, or you think it's wrong. So I don't like that, even that phrase. There might be something going on, and I know that's a message that I try to give everybody. I'm homeless. There's something wrong. No, you got a situation, but there's nothing wrong with you. So many people feel like there is something, wrong.
So one of the,
that's my word. I'll throw that in.
Yeah, one of the questions I ask when I get a lot of, because again, like my sister just said, a lot of people don't have the words, right? So the question is, something's wrong with me. Well, who told you that? Right? Who told you that something was wrong?
That's very good.
And if something was right, what would it look like? Right? Because a lot of times something is wrong with me I don't have the things that I want. Right? We're not talking about the needs that you have or the desires that you have. You can desire and want all kind of things, but I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist, right? Basically, how you think is going to lead to how you feel, is going to lead to what you do. This is a real simplistic explanation. So when something happens, what are you telling yourself about yourself? What do you feel about yourself? And then what do you do about it as a result of these things, right? So if I tell myself, dang on it, I lose my keys every day, I'm stupid. I'm so stupid, I lose my keys every day. And then I go and I lose my wallet. What do you think I'm going to tell myself first? I'm so stupid, right? You start looking for the thing that you're telling yourself. So when you start to say something is wrong with me, you start looking for things that don't fit along with what everybody else has, wants, or does. This is why we start talking about goals and future and lifting your head up and looking towards the things that you want. When you are dealing with practical things, though, when you have a practical need, what is your practical need? Right? What is your practical need? And I'm not saying, again, I'm a professional, right? I'm prepared for these type of conversations. To the mother, the father, the uncle, the aunt, the cousin, the friend, everybody that's out there talking, what I would say is show up for this person in a space that they can talk and be heard non-judgmentally, that they can be seen non-judgmentally, and that they can feel of value to you and to others. And then you move forward with, I think we need to get to a deeper level of conversation, because my mother can only do so much. My father can only do so much. After a while, when I start talking to my mother about things, her go-to answer just started being, you need to pray about that. Whatever it was, right? Yeah. You need to pray about that. Now, in my belief system, she's absolutely right. But how Jesus gonna help me with this breakup? This girl just cheated on me and I thought I loved her.
Well, that's
right. So in a way, you got to get to a point where you can find the community and build the community that you need.
And that also goes to where we know that sometimes we can't go to the people we think people should go to, because the issue really is with the people that we go to, right? The issue is really with mom. And so can we really go to mom and tell mom is the core reason why I'm feeling X, Y, Z and X, Y, Z? A lot of times not, which is where, again, the professional comes into place, or came in play, where we are unbiased, non-judgmental, hopefully. And if you got a therapist that's judgmental, you need to consider something different.
That's true.
I'm available.
Yes, right. We want to help. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm going to show you my toolbox. We got to help them pull their tools together, right? Build their toolbox. This is actually a tool, like a thing that I give my clients to help them. And I have them put things in there to remember what it is that's in here for them to use and pull from, because reality is some of the reasons and things that we are stressing about, that even includes the distress and the depression that leads us to potentially considering suicide, is sometimes our family. It could be
our
family.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we don't have, and that's not a safe place to go and talk about the things.
Yep. Yep.
which is why they go to other places.
Yep.
And help with them. We gotta find them, help them know where the options and other options and safe options and that there are options available to them. And a lot of times people just don't know how much they're loved. They just don't know how much they're loved and really believe that if they were here no longer, things will be better. So and so will be better. X will be better. And reality is everyone has somebody that cares about them deeply. Everyone does. And we want to put that in everybody's heart. Let them know that. And if we don't, how do we figure out a way to have them know that? Even in those down and low times. Because a lot of times those lower times come in the middle of the night, not always when we're all awake and around.
Right.
That's when the conversations and those conversations happen. Start thinking about things. Like if you notice, a lot of incidences do happen like that, happen in the evening and night times, early morning times. We call it the howling hours. Howling wolf hours, is that what they called them back then?
Howling wolf. Well, and that's why this thing is so hard to deal with. It is. I mean, this is look, this is the toughest show. I mean, there is no doubt this is the toughest one because you're searching, you're looking, you're wanting, and then you know that if you could just get them to make that call or make that, and you know what's that? You said this and I said this. You know that it's suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem, right? And you know it, right? So I'm thinking, and we were talking before, man, if you had just called me, right? If you had just, but you can, all you can do is put it out there, give folks the signs. It's tough. A lot of, go ahead, lady.
And then there are those times people that we know that we can't even imagine may be thinking that way.
Yeah.
And somehow that person rests on your spirit. They just show up in your mind and they just keep popping in your head. And you need to call them. Just checking in. I've had that happen twice. There were two people. One was at the point of transitioning, at the point, the plan, everything, and I called them. I called them. I had no idea, but I called, and I don't remember what I was talking about. I don't remember what I called for, but I called, and I found out later that call, the timing was life-saving. And that was just shocking for me to hear and know, but it's also good to let me know when it comes up. Don't wait, don't delay.
Yes, because it could be that moment.
Never know. Especially when you got people that you interact with all the time.
Yes. And then we tell people, I would say, so that's on our part, right? The person.
That's right.
But the person that's in that moment, what do? We encourage you to reach out.
Right.
We encourage you to reach out, connect with people that you trust, contact somebody, a loved one, somebody. And the loved one don't actually always have to be a family member. It could be your extended family member, whoever it is that you've identified. Express your feelings, but go and check in with folks. I mean, I think some people, that isolation sometimes is self-imposed.
Yes, most of the time is.
Right? It's self-imposed isolation. And it's a hard one. It's a hard one because you want people to have their own life and how they live their life, but that self-imposed isolation and withdrawal from things is scary. It's a scary thing, but we encourage people to be in contact with themselves, with other folks, be connected, reach out. And I love what you said, Lady Estelle, when somebody's put on your heart so heavily and you just keep thinking about them. And don't delay it, right? Don't be like, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it tomorrow, because tomorrow could be the last time and too late.
Right.
To call. Sometimes it's that spirit that knowing, just check base, and could have been that could have been the moment, and we don't even know.
No, but the reaching out, you're right. The reaching out is important on both ends.
On both ends, yes. Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be tough to sum all this up for the listening audience, because there's so much in here. There's so
Yes.
much in here. I know we mentioned earlier things to look for, or what do you call protective factors? Not so much. Well, I don't know if that term comes up a lot, and I'm not sure there are protective factors. Staunch protective factors, right? I mean,
Mhm.
establishment of a community and all that thing. But we need to put this together as the best we can for to our listeners.
Mhm.
And so how would we where would we start? Where would we start if we could make I mean, I don't want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but let's put some basic things together to help with this. I mean, look at Suicide Prevention Month, right?
Right.
Because there's no after the fact.
Mhm.
It's best we can to have people cognizant of things that might help prevent.
Right.
Yeah. So where would you start? I mean, I got a bunch of papers here, but I don't want to look through all these papers and all this
Yeah.
stuff. The
I'm ready.
suggestions
I'm
here.
ready to jump in Miss Ricka's toolbox. And I know Brother Jamal's got some things for the box. I
Yeah.
think that's
I'd rather hear it
which
from
is the
you
perfect
guys.
way to wrap up. I don't know what time it is, but
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
to get yeah.
I might got a list here, but I want to hear from y'all. What would you?
Let's see. Gosh. Well, clarify your question. Are you asking?
Well, I mean, like I'm looking at this thing. It says look for warning sign, depression, homelessness. It has a lot of changes in appetites.
Yeah,
Steps parents can take.
I think the first
Protect
things,
themselves,
the first things first is that if you are struggling with suicidal thoughts, right? If you're listening and you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, 988 is a great
Yes.
resource for
Okay.
you,
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
Helpline, suicide
Yes.
helpline.
If you are struggling with suicidal thoughts, find someone that you can trust and
Mhm.
talk to them about the overwhelm that you are feeling.
Mhm.
You can try and find a professional that you can talk to. Those are just a few things that from the place of hurt or overwhelm
Mhm.
that you want to be able to reach out and talk to someone that you can trust. I'll leave my number up here. You can always reach out, like I said, and we can talk. But 988 is going to be your resource
Yeah.
if you're feeling suicidal. Now, if you have a person that you feel is suicidal, first and foremost, like there are a million signs we can look for if they're leaving a list or they're giving away things.
See, that's the problem. There's a million signs.
Well,
Can
but
we-
the key
Yeah,
is that if you have a concern,
concern.
talk to the person and be comfortable enough to ask, are you thinking of killing yourself?
Yes. Directly.
If you have a concern about them taking their life via suicide,
Mhm.
ask them directly.
Mhm.
Then follow up that question with, do you have a plan?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
And after that, if those both are yes, then I'm going to still direct you back to 988
Mhm.
or a local hospital,
Mhm.
or a professional therapist in the area, because now we're in a crisis,
Mhm.
right? We're talking about this is a severe crisis.
Mhm.
And in that case, we need to provide mental health CPR, if you will, right? So there are different ways around that. I don't want people to just kind of look and start worrying about signs and just like, oh, you're investigating them. Like I'm sneaking up behind you. Like,
Yeah.
are you sleeping or are
Yeah,
you in
no.
here ruminating? Right. I want you to be able to talk to your loved one.
Mhm.
And loved one, I want you to be able to talk to.
Mhm.
I want to be able to talk. to them.
The reason why you don't want to only get with signs too, because some of the traditional signs that we hear, we've been talking about for years and decades, look for this, look for that, might not be present.
Yeah.
Might not be those exactly, might not be giving away their things, may not be making a list and saying this is where all my stuff, they may not be doing all that. So you don't want to get stuck on just these specific looking for signs. And it's not your job to investigate it, Brother Jamal is saying. That's not your role. It's just to detect if whether or not there is actually, as brother said, is there first also if there's any past suicide attempts, right? That's a major
sure.
thing too. So if
Yeah,
there's anything in the past,
yeah.
you have an actual
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
And if you have the potential of possibly even following through with that plan, you have the means to do the thing that you said that you were going to do, and then get them straight to help. 988 is, of course, is the crisis line, but sometimes it has to be a 911 call because it is that critical, and that we need to get them some support immediately, so that they can get the help. And then if you then if you find yourself with someone that is indeed the case or whatnot, not to go right into a blaming of yourself mode, and go straight into help, and we'll deal with the rest of that.
Let me ask this, and this is tough. And generally, it's parents that what should I be looking for? And I know that you want to give them a list of 100 things. But those are obviously the ones that we think about the most, right? Our own kids, our own relatives, the ones that we're related to. Because I get a lot. One big thing with me is that boy's down in that room, and he ain't come out for days, and all he does is play video games, or he's on every app in the world. And then I hear about the relationship between social media and mental health. And again, we're lucky because literally we talk to these kids about everything. And you'd be surprised, most of the ones that get a lot of the ones that get a lot out of it are just the ones that are sitting there listening, not the ones that give the feedback, but the ones that are just sitting there listening. Because all we do is give young people something to think about. That's what we do. We ain't trying to tell you what to do. We're trying to give you something to think about. And and I'll tell you what works a lot with us is they write about what we think about, even when they can't talk about what we think about.
Right.
They will write about it,
right,
and share that way. But for the parents that are listening, what would you? And that includes all of us, right?
Yes.
We all got family, so this isn't a thing for anybody else. It's just something we got to watch out for. We got nieces, nephews that we love. As the practitioners, what would you say? That's a lot to put on you, but
no, it's not a lot. I think that that's a great question. The first thing that I would suggest is trying to create a space of open dialogue with your child, right? If you have the ability to have open dialogue in a way that is not dismissive, and I'm not saying that you have to be 100% permissive of everything that your child does, but have a conversation. Again, I was talking about my niece going through high school, and for a while there, her life was like a reality show, and I was on every episode, right? She would come home and be like, "You won't believe what happened today." I'm like, "What?" But we had a space of communication, to understand and talk about the things that are happening in the world, in their lives, in your life, in the household, not necessarily putting them in grown folks' business, as we would like to say, but allowing communication so that we can have what's the word I'm looking for? So that we can have an open communication amongst everyone in the household. If there are concerns that you have, talk about it, and talk about it in the area of this you sitting in your room all day concerns me, and this is why. Is everything okay? Is there something you would like to talk about? I would like to talk to you more about. Like, have the conversation. If it's an older child, right, and they're just adulting is hard, right? Adulting is hard. Be patient with them, right? Be patient with them, because again, like my sister said earlier, their coping skills are not as advanced. We created a culture of everything is going to be okay. everything is going to be fine. And that's not the truth, right? Everybody is a champion, and you're so smart, and look how brilliant you are, and different things like that. And then when something comes hard, they're like, nothing should be hard for me, therefore I'm going to quit, right? So if we keep putting this culture of everything is going to be perfectly fine around them and not giving them the opportunity to develop resilience, to understand that this stumbling block that's set before you is really a stepping stone, right? This is how you step through this thing. And we were just talking earlier about these young ones in relationships, right? I couldn't tell you how many young ones I have that come in with serious concerns about relationships where everyone says you're going to be fine, which minimizes everything I'm feeling right now. Right? I am depressed. And how could he do that to me? Or how could she do that to me? And you're like, girl, that's just that little old boy. Don't worry about him.
And so
but I'm hurting.
Yes. And I think that I like that you said that. And we have to, I wish we had time to clarify a little bit more about open communication, because a lot of parents think they do have open communication with their young people. And open communication is not jumping on them their first few words when they say something that you don't like, or they share about a feeling that they have that you don't like, or you think they're too young to have, as you were talking about. I think a little bit about that, trying to downplay their stuff. Being able to really hear and listen, and then because otherwise they'll shut down, right? And then they won't speak to you. And then there we go, them talking to Chat GPT, getting the answers for everything, right? So we want to practice what does open communication really look like? We don't have time for that today.
Lady, jump in, and we're right up at this. We gotta do this again. But go ahead.
Okay.
Even under the broader topic of mental health, it might be.
And so I'm gonna tag on with what you just said. Is that when they do decide to talk to you, then when they start saying what's going on, you cannot go, what don't do that. Just let him get it out. Be still, be calm. Let all that hooping and hollering happen on the inside. Don't let that out, because the door is open and they're coming through. Let them come all the way through. And by the time they come all the way through with everything they've got to say, that hooping and hollering may not even be necessary. Okay, so that's number one. The other one is get up and go see. Because at the end of the day, whatever time it is, you are sitting down, you're done, and you got a feeling, but you're not going to get up and go get up. You call them, and you say, fine, no, get up and go see. Number two, follow your guidance. If something says, I wonder what is that boy doing, get up and go see. So number two goes back to number one. And then number three, don't delay. If it comes to you to tell them. Don't wait. Because I've had parents tell me, I had a dream and I didn't tell him, and he's dead now. His friend shot him. I'm sorry, it was just that deep. Okay. So number three goes back to number two, don't delay, follow your guidance, get up and go see. And number four, be present.
Yeah.
You've got to show up. Your not showing up is letting them know that you don't care. You're not, however they interpret it may not be the message that you're trying to send. So you need to be present, don't delay, follow your guidance, get up and go see. And then pay attention. Pay attention to what they say, what they're not saying, what they used to say, what they no longer say. You got to pay attention. Everything is changing, and kids are changing all the time, and they're changing fast. And so you got to watch, you got to pay attention, you got to pay attention. You can't just hear it, you got to feel it. And the last thing is rhythm change. When the rhythm changes, something's going on. Everybody has a rhythm. Your children, your house, they have a rhythm. And when that rhythm changes, something's going on. Don't let that pass. So pay attention to the rhythm changes. Pay attention. Be present. Don't delay. Follow your guidance and get up. Go see.
That's a good summary wrap up.
It sure is.
It's a good word.
It sure is. I'm only gonna throw one other thing in, and I don't know if it works for everybody, but for me, when I get that, and I say, yeah, man, I've been through that something like that myself. I've been through something like you been through something like that. Well, it may not be exactly like yours, but they like you'd be surprised how many people think, you older than me, but yeah, man, my heart, but yeah, this, yeah. Well, how did you deal with it? Boom. All right. So I think a lot of time adults are reluctant to say, you ain't, to talk about the stuff they've been through without judgment, okay? Because that has helped me. I don't, with young people, and this is my conversations with. This is all wonderful. I asked for that, and I don't think it could have been any better. Somebody transcribe all this and send it out to folks. But you don't have to, because the show is recorded and we will get it to all of you.
All right.
And if they just get this last part, I think it's going to be a whole lot more than all these articles I got here saying all this. Because the three of you have just laid it out beautifully. And we got to put this little snippet together just as part and get this out to folks, because I think you have done a wonderful service, to the people. Wonderful. So thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for the opportunity. Thank you so much for the
Yes,
opportunity.
Lord, well, we're going to keep them alive and free.
Yes, alive and free.
All right, Brother Jamal, thank you.
Thank you.
I hit you late, but I'm glad I got you, girl. And Lady E, you are Lady E. So, all right. All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week on Street Soldiers. All right.